Tensions are exploding as reports emerge that Iran may be funneling hundreds of ballistic missiles to Russia for use in Ukraine. This escalation rings alarm bells, dramatically expanding Russia's strike capacity while showcasing Iran's rising role as a military supplier. In this video, we'll break down allegations that Iran is arming Russia with missiles, the implications if transfers are underway, and how the US and allies might respond to this dangerous alliance. There's a lot to unpackage here, so let's get started. The missile shipment reports. First, what exactly is being reported? On Wednesday, Reuters exclusively revealed that Iran has sent around 400 surface-to-surface ballistic missiles to Russia. Citing multiple Iranian sources, it said shipments began in January of Fateh 110 family missiles like the Zulfiqar. With ranges up to 700 kilometers, these road-mobile missiles can strike critical infrastructure across Ukraine. For its part, Iran denies providing any missiles to Russia. But Western officials warn the transfers appear credible. One said evidence exists of Iran delivering missiles in recent weeks. Though unconfirmed, such a sizable shipment would massively boost Russia's stockpile. It shows Iran is ramping up support through missiles, not just drones. This alliance is rapidly deepening. Russia's need for missiles. Experts say acquiring Iranian missiles makes sense for Russia right now. After a year of bombardment, Russia's domestic missile production can't meet demand. Plus, Ukraine has had some success intercepting Russian cruise missiles. So adding survivable ballistic missiles to the mix improves Russia's chances of hitting targets. With Ukraine gearing up for a counteroffensive, Russia needs to expand its long-range strike options. Iranian missiles, battle-tested in places like Yemen, provide a proven system. Implications of the transfer. This missile pipeline, if verified, would have enormous implications. It represents a new level of Iranian-Russian military cooperation. Strategically, hundreds of accurate missiles could give Russia more capability to cripple Ukraine's infrastructure. Cities and civilians would be at greater risk. It also shows the limits of Western export controls. Russia is turning to pariah states for arms supplies, bypassing sanctions. This creative coalition poses new threats. Finally, Iran's growing role as a weapons provider feeds its regional ambitions. Missile sales generate revenue for Iranian proxies that target the West and its allies. Potential U.S. response. Predictably, the White House issued stern warnings to Iran about missile transfers. It said Russia and Iran would face severe consequences if deliveries are proven. The U.S. will likely impose additional sanctions in the near future. It could also interdict missile components headed to Russia. Providing ballistic missiles clearly violates the spirit of UN restrictions on Iranian arms exports. The U.S. argues that merits a forceful international reaction. Biden also risks looking soft if Iran defies his warnings. So he'll be under pressure, especially from Republicans, to back threats with action. Challenges on verification. Still, the U.S. faces challenges verifying the transfers and attributing missiles used in Ukraine to Iran. Russia conceals the origins of its weapons. Iran also has various options for smuggling components via air, sea and land routes. Detection isn't easy. So while intelligence points to Iranian missiles reaching Russia, documenting their battlefield deployment could prove difficult. That may slow any U.S. punitive response. Broader context. Stepping back, this episode is unfolding as Iran's regime shows growing belligerence on multiple fronts. It continues escalating its nuclear program, cracking down violently on protests, and supplying drones to Russia for attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure. Now missiles may be entering the fray. This aggressive foreign policy reflects both the regime's ideology and its eroding domestic standing. Some argue America's lack of firmness enables this behavior. Biden contends engagement at least limits the risks, but his leverage appears limited. Managing escalation. Looking ahead, the priority will be containing escalation while still signaling resolve. Neither the US or Russia wants a direct clash. But miscalculations could occur, especially if verification lags while missile transfers continue. That fans tensions. Much depends on Iran's ultimate goals. Is it just exploiting a revenue source? Or intentionally trying to bind itself closer to Russia in confrontation with the West? The latter would be deeply concerning. For now, vigorous diplomacy and spoiling Iranian logistics seem the safest options for Washington. But a tough message must be sent to Tehran. Russia and Iran cannot threaten the world with impunity. Conclusion. In closing, allegations of an expanding Iran-Russia missile trade open a perilous new dimension in the Ukraine war. Iran risks becoming a chief enabler of Russia's invasion. Yet verification struggles mean quick punishment is unlikely, even as Western anxieties grow. Deft deterrence is required to halt cooperation without triggering uncontrolled escalation. With tensions rising, the situation remains extremely fluid. I'll be watching closely for new evidence on these reported missile transfers. The stakes could not be higher. Let me know your views in the comments.